So it's really nice to be here this morning. My name's Elaine Ferneley. This is going to be more of an interactive session. So I'm hoping that some of you have got access to the internet. This may or may not work, but could you try and get some access to a browser? Because I am going to ask you to do some work here today. Okay, and I am then going to hand the floor over to you as well, rather than me spend most of my time talking here. But I am going to just first of all just start off with a couple of things. I started off by looking at a definition of collaboration. And of course, because we've had a number of AI sessions today, or yesterday, I used Microsoft Copilot to come up with a definition. So I'd just like you to spend a moment reading that definition of collaboration. I think that's quite important to just understand that we've got a mutual understanding of what collaboration may be. And there's some key words in there. So this was from Copilot. Copilot then created a word cloud for me. Okay, and here's the word cloud that Copilot created. So what I want to do now is I want you to create a word cloud rather than me create a word cloud. So with a bit of luck, I'm hoping that we can get into Mentimeter. Has anyone used Mentimeter before? Are you on the internet? You have to be, you have to be internet connected. So what I want you to do is go to menti.com, menti.com. So if we can spend a little moment or two just going to menti.com. Okay, I want to hear about your fears and your challenges. When you're in there, I'm asking you to put your biggest fears and challenges in there. I can't see it on here, but I can see it here. Okay, so as you start putting your concerns into Mentimeter, your fears, your challenges, then it will start to pop up here. Great, I'm starting to see some responses. I'm seeing distance, mental models, different objectives. Keep going. I'm going to share these with you later. So, is everybody in? Okay. I've got your computer. No, sorry. How are you doing over here? I'm seeing some more coming in. Pressure levels, listening. This is how you can share your concerns without having to say them out loud. Okay. I'm getting a better one now. You keep going. I'm gonna make you just go a little bit longer. You feeling better? Is this feeling cathartic? Do you feel like you're getting a weight off your shoulders as you're sharing your concerns? How are we doing here? Okay, so what I've got here is I've now got a word cloud. I'm wanting to try and find what the biggest concern in the room is. Okay? We've got both perspectives coming out here. So I'm going to share the word cloud later with you all. Okay, it's an opportunity for us to really have a live understanding of what the concern is in the room. And I'd really encourage you to use Mentimeter in your classes, because it is a way of finding out what the sentiment in the room is at a particular moment in time. So moving on from what's come out on Mentimeter, I then want to kind of talk about what I would call the 7 deadly sins of supervision. The 7 sort of concerns that people express time and again in the supervisory process. I'm just going to put them up one at a time, and let's see if time comes up.
I usually get lost about my direction, so sometimes panicking, so I don't know where to go. At that time, I need some advice.
Okay. Panic. Okay. Sharing the direction of travel that you're going in.
Yeah.
Supervisors, how do you help with that? How do you help with that panic or the direction of travel? What supervisors in the room?
I'm not a supervisor,
okay.
But I panicked already. But I sent an email to Natalie and I told her, okay, we have to meet. I'm lost, I'm distracted, I don't know where to start, what I have to do. All those thoughts were in my head. And yesterday she explained everything. Okay, so what I think or what I sensed through the supervisors or employees here, that they support us. They, okay, relax. You have to do 1, 2, 3. Those things online can help you. And if you need anything, this is my name. This is Catherine's name. Those are the supervisors. Just ask for a meeting and we'll explain it. And after that, I felt, okay, so there's a support system through this organization, and that felt, what I felt that, okay, it's fine, everything will be good.
Okay.
So that just a talking and the name of supervisors or employees, that what I sensed yesterday.
So it was lovely to hear that you got that reassurance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm not panicking.
Good. Okay. So a lesson that can maybe be learnt about when you feel like you're panicking, that you've just heard from one of your colleagues, is perhaps to reach out, to speak to people, to know that there is a network there to support you. And I think that's really important for you to find that network and find that support, which is here in the room, of course, which is here at the BSI, that support.
Yeah, better to be more brave.
I think it's important to be brave sometimes. Doing a DBA is about being brave. I'm going to put up another deadly sin that I think is important for us to share in the room, is the return on investment. So from the student side, you're investing a lot. Okay? What's your investment? It's financial, but what else is the investment? What are you investing in this?
Time.
Time. It comes back to that big statement in the middle of the screen, doesn't it? The time that you're investing. What about your family?
Success
Ah,
for the students and for the professor. The satisfaction.
the return. The return. Tomorrow, many of you are going to be at the graduation ceremony. That is just such a day. That celebration of success, seeing you graduate, seeing that group of people who've gone on an incredible journey. That's a lovely return on our investment, is to see that success. Also, maybe some more tangible things. What else are we looking for as supervisors, perhaps? Publication
And satisfaction.
and satisfaction. How do you get satisfaction from a student?
And the fact that the student is happy with what he has done, and the fact that we are happy that he has done it effectively. Because at the beginning, the outcome is never sure. I mean, we work with uncertainties, and we manage to control this uncertainty and to reach a goal that is satisfactory for the students and for us.
That's excellent.
Can I? One satisfaction I get is from seeing someone who initially was lost, who was coming from a very heavy professional practice, because a lot of our students are heavily involved in their professional practices in their industries, and that shift to kind of understand things from a research perspective, and then eventually marrying the two. But that shift takes place very differently in different students at different paces, different times, in different ways. But I know when that shift takes place.
You feel it.
And then I'm like, oh yeah, we've done. So yesterday, for instance, I had meetings with several students of my group of different levels, and the one who's nearly finished was talking more than I was talking. She was helping the others. She's got it, right? So I was like, and it was natural. She didn't even realize that she'd done all this journey of understanding the research process and what that means, and helping the newcomers. Instead of reassuring them, yes, that's normal, then you go. So it's that shift which is really satisfying. I found that very satisfying.
Okay.
Yesterday with my supervisor, we came to idea to follow up actually after we makes progress in and maybe even finish the thesis to design a training program
Brilliant.
that we can even deliver together. So it's new collaboration and also putting things into some business perspective.
And I think that's such a lovely example, because we often talk about the publication as being one of our returns on investment, but also, you know, the opportunity to be able to draw on your expertise and build case studies or work with you in your future practice as well is a real opportunity for us as supervisors to get a return on investing in you as students. So that's some of what we're looking for. And if you're going to design a training package with your professor, that's marvellous. I hope. Okay. Yeah, fantastic. I've got a couple of other deadly sins. It's the third one. Time constraints. They don't make time. That's a problem. Is we can't manufacture more time. So how do you find more time? How are you going to find more time? Sorry?
We are interested in the answer.
So we have to be
more efficient.
You can try and be more efficient. Yeah, I think efficiency is important.
Pareto law.
Sorry?
Pareto law.
Oh, the 80, yes.
80% of 20%.
The Pareto
of effort,
principle.
80% of results.
Yeah.
That's what he said.
Yeah. That's the Pareto
theory.
principle is good, but also let's be honest. You're going to have to give up something.
Yeah.
They don't make time. So what are you going to give up? What are you going to give up?
No, I wanted to. I did a lot, but what I did, that I put my priorities. Okay, so those days are from 8 till 12 for work, because now I'm an entrepreneur, so I'm starting a new business. So I'm giving this time for the university. Those days from this time till this time. Okay, if I have something else, I have to work more, because I just started the program. I will also take, for example, I have a kid, so I told my husband, all year long, I'm with the kid, I'm taking care. Those 5 days, you'll be with him. Okay, it's my time. I have to put some priorities, because I think I have to be more focused on the program. So I didn't give up my kid for my husband. It's still my kid, and I still taking control of all the things around me, my kid, the work, and everything around. But it's really important to put priorities during the day.
Okay.
Okay. And yesterday I thought, okay, I have to make a roadmap. And to see maybe the small tasks that I have to do. It may take from my time 15 to 20 minutes. 15 to 20 minutes. If you scroll down your Facebook, Instagram, it will be like 30 minutes. So it's nothing, 15 to 20 minutes, but it's really efficient.
Yeah, okay.
So it doesn't take a lot of time, just to focus on what you are doing with the small time.
That focus,
time management.
Time management, and don't completely give up the kid.
Yeah.
Okay, that was interesting. What are you going to give up? Okay, so you're going to. So that's something you're going to give up. Doing the review, you're going to. What are you going to stop doing to give more time to your studies?
I don't give up.
You're not going to give up anything. Okay.
I never give up.
Okay. You know.
Never give up.
Okay.
I think when you are in research, you are very interested in your field. You must not give up.
Okay, so you're tackling that slightly differently, but I love that resilience. What you're talking about is you're not going to give up on this DBA journey.
Focus. Never give up.
Okay, and do you have a day a week when you're going to do that? A particular day when you're going to be focused on the DBA?
Every day.
Every day. I think that is the right answer. I think that's a great answer.
Exactly, and related to that, I would like to share
my supervisor is here. Track me. I had two supervisors,
Okay.
And they track me on my in my field. Yes, I never give up.
Good. Okay, so you're not going to give up when you're going to look at the DBA every day.
Every day.
Okay, I think that's a really good piece of advice. You know, just it's so hard doing research and coming back to it, picking it up if you've not looked at it for days or weeks or months is really difficult. But if you can do it every day, even if it's that 15 minutes, even if it's giving up a bit of Facebook scrolling and just spending 15 minutes every day looking at your work and reflecting on what you're doing, that's how you can continue to engage with your research and ensure that you complete. So I think there's a couple of really interesting lessons there, which I'd encourage you to think about.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree on that point. If you work every day, for example, half an hour every morning, half an hour, just put the alarm clock half an hour earlier. And that's very important to work every day because there is a strong link between your practice and your topic. So you work in the morning half an hour, and during all the day you will work on your own work, professional work, but there is a link between the two.
Yeah.
So that's, I think, it's the best way. I agree with you.
Yeah. So every day, I love that idea of every day is to sometime every day, and that resilience as well, that never give up, because you will come to those stages where you think, oh, I'm going to give up. And to be honest, supervisors also get to that stage sometimes, where a supervisor really will question whether the return on investment is worth it. You know, so you do have to consider both sides of this relationship. As a supervisor will be sat there thinking, I've not heard from this student for weeks or months. Why am I investing my time and effort if I'm not seeing that return in terms of even commitment? So that resilience, that I won't give up, I'll look at it every day, I'll maybe quit some Facebook scrolling or maybe delegate some childcare responsibilities. I'm really in favour of that one. I think it's important to think about how you're going to manage your time. I've got a couple of others here. Expectation misalignment. And I think we've just touched on that a little bit. Supervisors have an expectation. We're coming to this partnership, we're coming to this relationship with a certain expectation. We want something out of this. There's the return on the investment. Elizabeth was talking about the satisfaction of seeing success. You know, we have an expectation. And of course, so do students, an expectation from the supervisor. So it's really important to make sure that those expectations are aligned, that they're the same, or at least similar, that we understand what we both want. And that's an early conversation to have. What do you want out of your supervisor? And what does your supervisor want out of the supervisee? What is the expectation? Managing that expectation becomes easier if it's aligned, if we understand what both of us is expecting. And then also we can be quite upfront if that expectation isn't being met. If we agree that you are going to do half an hour every day, and we see you after a month, and by that stage you should have done, 15 hours of work at least? And if we don't see that 15 hours, then the expectation is misaligned. You know, you've committed to half an hour a day, which, you know, working days, that's 15 hours a week, something like that, 15 hours a month. Let's show us the evidence. Okay? It's important to have that expectation aligned. A couple more deadly sins. Communication. How are you going to communicate with your supervisor? Practically. How are you going to communicate with them? I've got some students in the chap at the back. How are you going to communicate? Yeah.
We communicate. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we met face to face for the first time yesterday, but yeah.
Okay.
So far, email and then video calls.
Okay, email and video calls. Can I ask how often?
Once a month.
Yeah.
Okay. And those are scheduled in advance?
No. Basically, when I feel I made enough progress, I'm sending my progresses, and then she has a bit of time to review, and then we have a call to discuss.
Okay, so email and video, that's your communication style.
Yes.
Does it? But you've met for the first time face to face yesterday.
Yeah.
How long have you been in your relationship? It is a relationship. 6 months. Okay. Okay. Was he taller than you were expecting? I always find it a shock when you've only ever met somebody online and they're like, oh gosh, I wasn't expecting you to be. It's a shock. Can I ask, how are you going to communicate with your supervisor?
Comment tu communiques avec ton superviseur?
Comment je communiquais avec mon superviseur? Je me déplaçais, j'allais le voir.
Face to face.
Face to face?
Oui, oui, plusieurs fois.
How often?
Oui.
Tous les combien? Tous les combien?
La fréquence.
La fréquence.
Oui.
Par exemple, quand je prenais la journée là, parce qu'on n'était pas au même endroit.
Ouais.
Elle était à ville,
Loin.
et moi je me déplaçais et
tous
je
les
restais.
Et tous les combien?
Hein?
Tous les combien à peu près?
Dans la semaine.
Je le vois dans la semaine,
Je veux dire,
le jour même.
donc, mais toutes les semaines, vous allez le voir toutes les
Total?
Toutes les semaines, j'allais le voir.
Once a week.
Once a week, face to face? Wow, that is a commitment from your supervisor. Once a week, face to face? That is fantastic. So different styles of communication. I think it's important that you establish what that communication channel is going to be, its frequency. Huh? I think Natalie is just checking that it's once a week, face to face. I'm going to move on. Okay, the sixth one is feedback friction. What do I mean by that? Any views on what I mean by feedback friction?
Is it the student not being able to receive the feedback, to be open to constructive feedback?
Constructive criticism. I think that's a really hard thing for us to deliver. And it's also very hard for you to receive it. So it's not easy to write a critical perspective on somebody's work. It's a hard thing for supervisors to do, to write something that may be quite critical. But what we're trying to do is be constructive. And I'm sure you've heard that phrase, constructive criticism. So receiving feedback that isn't particularly positive can sometimes be very hard to receive, and there can become a friction. I'm sure that Michelle has been in the situation where a student has said, I'm not in a good relationship with this supervisor, they keep criticising me. There is a friction there. It's how you prepare for having what may be difficult conversations. And that's part of a supervisor's role, is to have a difficult conversation. Sarah?
I think it's about normalising the fact that critical feedback is part of the process for everybody.
Yeah.
So you're not doing anything wrong when you get feedback that is hard to read.
Yes.
And I can remember when I was doing my PhD, you know, my supervisor would print everything off. It was quite a long time ago. I would go to her office and I would see a big chapter printed off with red pen all over it, and I would be absolutely terrified as to what was going to be in that conversation. And I realised very quickly that that was the same for every student. And you know, so now when I supervise doctoral students, I always say it's normal for us to write lots of stuff on your work. It's great because it's helping you to improve.
Yeah.
But I think it's about how you deliver that, and to normalise the fact that critique of your work is something that is a really normal part of the process.
Useful.
Yeah.
Yeah, and helpful to help you develop.
And just try and find it as a useful thing to receive, and have that conversation with your supervisor about the fact that they will be writing critical feedback, and that receiving that and working with it is an important part of the supervisory process. I'm conscious of the time, so I'm just going to put the last one up, which is... Yes.
In this domain of feedback, I think that the supervisor and the student, it is not imperative that the two actors must be. It is not imperative that the supervisor and the student must be on the same.
No. They don't have to agree. The role of the supervisor is ultimately to learn from the student. So you are successful in your DBA journey when you have exceeded the knowledge base of your supervisor. You're supposed to be creating new knowledge and having an impact that is different from your supervisors. You're expanding knowledge, and therefore inevitably you need to know more than your supervisor ultimately, and your supervisor needs to learn from you. So that means that you may not agree, and there will also become a point where the supervisor has to step back almost and go, okay, I understand the process you've gone through. I now have to defer to your expertise as a student in this particular domain and say that you're the person who knows the most about this. You become the expert. It's that point where...
It must be a facilitator.
Yes. That's what we are, yeah. Simply facilitators, yes. Simply facilitators. Michelle is now leaving, which means that the time is up. I'm sorry we started slightly late, but I want to take you just straight. Digital distance, I think you'll understand that one. I just want to take you to the last slide I have here, because I put a few slides up, and then because of the time, we were slightly delayed. I decided that right at the end, I ought to just introduce you to my three personal highlights when it comes to my... It's Polly, yes. I think you might have been there. I'd forgotten.
Examiner as well.
So, yes. So these for me are my three personal highlights when it comes to my PhD DBA students. I'd completely forgotten Natalie was the external examiner for Polly. So just to introduce you briefly to them, because I want to make a point here. Polly is the oldest PhD student that I ever supervised. At least 10 years older than me. That was quite scary for me at first. And she's quite a scary lady. Brendan is the youngest PhD student I ever supervised. Brendan started his PhD at the age of 22 and completed within 2 years. And then the chap in the middle, Camille, is in the middle. He was neither older nor younger than me. He was about my age. A Malaysian student who came to the UK and to Manchester and brought his family over for 3 years to do his doctorate. The reason that they're my personal highlights is because I worked incredibly closely with them, and I've put particular highlights. Natalie's remembered, I'd completely forgotten. Polly, her very first paper, it got best paper at the European Conference on Information Systems. Her first paper, a conference with hundreds of papers in it, at least 150, something like that, and it won. It was just an amazing experience to have that relationship with Polly while she went through her journey. Brendan, no interest in publication whatsoever. His PhD resulted in a spin-out company that we eventually sold for quite a substantial seven-figure sum. So a commercialisation from his PhD. And Camille in the middle here, a stellar academic now. He's the Dean of Computer Science at the Petronas University in Malaysia. Three very different journeys, and I'm incredibly proud of them. But the point I want to make is I'm most proud of the fact that Polly is godmother to one of Camille's children, that Brendan convinced Polly to do her PhD and mentored her all the way through it, the youngest and the oldest, and that Camille and Brendan still work together, where Camille takes practice and helps with Brendan in his business to take that practice forward. I have stepped away from this relationship. I see them occasionally, but not very often. They communicate with each other all the time. They collaborate with each other. And to me, that is the ultimate success, is the students who I had the privilege to supervise now 10 years after, 15 years after each of them graduated at least. They're still in touch with each other, they still support each other, they still work together, they cross international boundaries, they cross disciplines, and they have not only professional relationships but also personal relationships. That's the real collaboration possibility in a DBA, and that's the real possibility that you have here in the BSI. Find your network. Use your supervisor, but collaborate and find your network of peers on this programme. So that was what I wanted to kind of finish on. Was my three highlights: Camille, Polly, and Brendan. Thank you.
DBAs or PhDs?
They were actual PhDs.
Because the difference in